Hello and welcome to our lesson of today, in which we will discuss about understanding light and shadow. The light and shadow are essential elements in drawing, and we use them in order to create the illusion of the three-dimensional form and depth. Today we will use an object, and this object will be an egg. We will study light and shadow on the egg. First, once we determine the object and the proportions, we establish the light source. The light source will determine the cast shadow. Then we will determine the light and shadow. We will divide the light and shadow through a terminator line. We will discuss about the highlight. We will discuss about the center light. We will discuss about the foreground shadow. We will discuss about reflected light. We will discuss about occlusion shadow, and we will discuss about cast shadow. Let's start drawing an egg. And after the course is finished, please try by yourself, using the elements that you are learning today, to draw a perfect egg. I will tell you that it's not easy, but I'm sure you will make it. So we made a hint of the future drawing with the source of light here. The object, actually the egg, is here. The light part, the shade part, the terminator line, the reflected light, and the cast shadow and the occlusion shadow. So we will start, and in order to be faster, we will use the powder. This is the terminator line. Now we have to tone in and to shade dark halftones and light halftones. So we'll start from here. Now we will start to draw the occlusion shadow. And we will start now to draw the reflected light, and we will not use an eraser or something, but what we will do is we will darken the shadow. So this will be the reflect, and we will darken the rest. Okay, now that we shaded the halftones, the dark and light halftones, we darkened the shadows in order to show the reflected light. We will do now, we will make a highlight. We will make a highlight which is a reflected light from here to our eyes, and yeah, it's a point here. It is very important not to confuse the center light with the highlight. The center light will remain always in the same place, while the highlight, it depends on the position of the viewer, because it's a reflected light. Well, let's summarize what we learned today. In order to use and to create the illusion of volume, we use light and shadows. In principle, what we have to do firstly is to establish the source of light. Once we establish the source of light, we know where the shadows fall and how strong they are. If we discuss about the light, we learn about the center light, and we learn about the reflected light. We learn about the value, which is the degree of lightness and darkness of a color. We know about highlights, which are the brightest area of an object, and here is the highlight. We should not confuse the highlight with the center light, because the highlight will move while the center light will stay in the place. Why the highlight will move? Because the highlight is the reflection of the source of light into the viewer side. So the highlight will move according to the position of the viewer. We learn about the cast shadows, which are the shadows created when an object blocks the light source. We learn about the occlusion shadows, which are at the border between the object and the plane. We learn about the form shadows, which are the shadows created by the form of the object itself. Now, if we want to study further, we have to mention here about some techniques which the Renaissance artists created. The famous chiaroscuro, the use of strong contrast between light and the dark. And that will affect the whole composition and the dramatism of the composition. Famous for it, it's Caravaggio. Then we have also to mention the technique called sfumato, which allows the tone and colors to shade gradually into one another, producing the softened or the hazy forms. This is a kind of sfumato, from fumo, Italian word that means smoke. So this is it. Thank you very much, and see you for the next lessons.